Hello everybody, today we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. Now in the last episode, we saw some world events happen, like over here in the Americas, we saw a big war for the Ontario country. And, well, that country no longer exists. We had a couple wars in Africa, and we also saw some ethnic cleansing from the Madagascar country. We'll see more of that today. That's not good, but saw a couple wars happen, like this war that happened, and these are really good borders. We also saw some democracy being spread, not like in a bad way. We also saw Sri Lanka expand, and they're going to expand more in this episode. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And let's go ahead and start this video. And let's start it over here in the African region, where I see a new alliance be created. This will be the Diamond Alliance, created with Madagascar, Angola, and Nigeria. And they invite one more country to that being this kind of Rwanda, Burundi, Lake Victoria, Uganda country. I'm just gonna call it Uganda, even though this is more Uganda. I just like this being Uganda. Anyway, these are some fascist African countries. And I did forget to say this, but these guys did switch over to African fascism recently. They were a part of regular fascism, but now they're just African fascists. And by the way, these guys have become flawed democracies. Well, that guy was already one, but these guys have become a flawed democracy as well as these guys to the recent war that happened in this region. But anyways, we see a counter alliance to this alliance, and that is going to go ahead and be the Trapezoid Alliance, formed by South Africa. Actually, I might make this a different alliance shape. It's too similar to Ada's Pros, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over to what should I switch it to? I'm gonna do the Cross Alliance. Now we can see that the Cross Alliance is formed. It's South Africa, Namibia, this Congo country right here, Tanzania, this purple Madagascar country, and all the way up in northern Africa, we can see Ghana also joining this. So we can see that, well, there's a lot of Africa is now picking sides, and even more countries also start to pick their own side. As even this country, that is now a flawed democracy, they're going to go ahead and join the Diamond Alliance, and we can see that all these alliances are stretching across Africa. And up here for support for the Ugandan country, we can see Kenya go ahead and join in on the alliance of the Diamonds. And, well, we can see a lot of Africa is starting to pick sides. By the way, all of these countries that are in the Cross Alliance have to be at least a flawed democracy, so they all do become democracies that are in the Cross Alliance. So, yeah, just something to note. They at least have to be a democracy to be in the Cross Alliance, or flawed democracy, I meant. Well, the Purple Alliance, the African fascists, you have to be, well, to be in the Diamond Alliance, you have to be an African fascist. So some countries are gonna go ahead and switch, like these guys, they switched to African fascism pretty quick after some rigging of elections. Same with these guys. And it seems like Africa is not doing good, especially South Africa. This place looks like it's gonna collapse, and well, that's kind of true, with this Botswana country having a lot of instability and turmoil after the war that happened over here in Mozambique. Specifically, a large rebel group over here in this area that looks something like this does not want to be a part of the Botswanans. That's not the right color. What is going on? This area is a pretty pro Diamond Alliance country slash rebellion. Well, we see a pro democratic force over here in the south. No, not all of that in the south. And I don't think Botswana is gonna really live for much longer at this rate. So Botswana, they're gonna try push back, and they do a little bit in the south next to their capital. That's where they do the best by far, especially towards their capital. But over here in the areas where it's not near their capital, it just isn't going as well for them. And that's especially over here in the northern region as they're getting clapped a lot. So they're gonna pull out the southern region, which is gonna allow the brown team to push back a little bit. And now the Botswanans can push back over here in this region. However, it's pretty much Joe over for them, as there's not much they can do to counteract these two rebellions. As one makes a move, you have to pull troops from the other front, and then the person that just got their troops moved is just gonna make another push. So it's pretty much never ending. as we see the brown team make a push in, and then we see this guy actually also make a push in, and well, it's now one united front against the Botswanans, and it's probably good to know that these guys aren't on good relations with each other, these two rebellions, but they're just fighting because they don't want to be a part of this Botswanan country. And apparently Madagascar doesn't want them to be either. They don't want Botswana to exist as they just start invading into the Botswanans country. And now it's pretty much just gone. It's done for the Botswanans, as their capital and this whole area right here is sieged by these guys. And well, that's not too well for, because another country claims over this area. That's South Africa. South Africa claims over this area right here, so we could see some disputes happening over that in the future. However, we can see the blue team is just rapidly going through this country, and I guess so is the rebellions, and I don't think we need to drag it on any longer. The Madagascar, or no, the Botswanans will fall, and let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty of Botswana. So this is the peace treaty, and I know it looks a little weird, so let me kind of just make it look better. Okay, so this is a little bit better. So these countries are all now independent. These two, the Madagascarians, fully take control of all of that. But then there's this. This is the major issue within the peace treaty, as people don't know what to do with this. So both countries claim over. So we're just gonna color this as a disputed piece of land. So this is what I'm gonna do for it. I could also do this. I don't know though. Anyways, looking at capitals for the new countries, first of all, you're not supposed to have a capital. And second of all, your capital will be right here, and your capital it'll be all the way up here, which, it's close to their new ally. And these are the new ideologies, and they will join their according sides. What is that? I don't know what that is. So yeah, these guys join their according sides to their ideology. And well, we can see civil wars happening because of ideologies. Interesting. Anyway, you guys remember the Sri Lankans? Yeah, they're not done. And now they're going to war with Indonesia. And well, they make a landing in this northern area, and the Indonesians are like, what? Or no, probably not the Indonesians, the Malaysians. Well, let's say these are just I would call the Indonesians. But anyways, these guys, the Malaysians, are like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on? We can solve this peacefully, and we can, maybe just give you a little bit of land. And the Sri Lankans are like, no, we want like a lot of this island. So they will continue down the coast. And remember, they are receiving no pushback from the Malaysians, as well. They just don't want to fight this. The Malaysians don't want to fight this. So the Sri Lankans are gonna go ahead and offer this. So the Gold team, the Sri Lankans, will get all of that. That is their peace treaty. Anyways, that is gonna do it for this video. I know it was very short, but I have to go do something. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.